Call to order. So will everybody could join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we need a roll call? Probably not, right? Okay, good. Guess we'll get right into it with Nikki.
Morning all.
Morning.
I come before you today seeking approval for one home improvement project to be moved forward. Hopefully you've all gotten my memo. I think that probably says as much as it needs to say. I would just ask if you have any questions or want me to elaborate further on anything.
I don't.
I'll jump at once.
I don't have,
Yeah, no. You have it laid out.
we approve that.
Pardon me?
I'll make a motion that we approve.
All right, we have a motion
I'll support.
from Commissioner LaHaye, support from Brenda, Commissioner Fournier, and do we need a vote for that? No?
Yeah, I think so.
Just a roll call or all in favor? Roll call, right?
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes,
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Kozlowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Kondrashevsky.
Yes. All right,
That's the toughest thing I do today.
yeah.
I would like to just make a quick note, Travis. Last time I was before you, you had asked for me to kind of bring some updated information on projects that we've completed. And I just wanted to let you know that I've not forgotten about that. And I'm in the middle of doing reports for all three of our funding sources. And once I have those reports consolidated by next month, I'll have a nice, thorough piece of information that I can bring back to you guys and
Okay.
just kind of let you know where we're at and what we have left to spend and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, this isn't really a large one, so I think you probably have quite a fair amount left.
Yeah.
Good,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Could I say something?
Certainly.
You guys got way ahead of me. I was gonna add two things to the agenda,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No, not at all. And I should have asked. I apologize. So would anybody besides John and John like to add anything to the agenda? Was like that?
Two things. One is the plaza pool invoicing and purchasing. We can, I guess, I kind of had some notes down by Cindy, because she's gonna do most of the talking on that one. And then
Notifications.
And then I guess we'll add the second one was discussion, and I don't know if we got anywhere with the woman that came to us about the link of the Northern Lights, and I just wanted to have a discussion about that.
Okay, okay.
I guess if we're kind of talking about Northern Lights in there, we can talk about it all down.
Yeah, we'll add both of those items in right after the Northern Lights then, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Okay, we've got some amendments made to the agenda. We'll move on to Wes.
Morning.
Morning.
So the accident damage at the fairground, just on hold, weather gets a little nicer. The partition wall and door installation at the airport is now finished. Caretaker's house repairs were finished yesterday. The merchant's building repairs, we've got the FRP done, all the exhaust fans working. We do have a meeting. Airport has a meeting in there tomorrow, and then there's a tax sale this weekend. We'll be getting next week, Monday, we'll be getting back on improvements to that building. The animal control building, that's all done, complete, and the pool heating system repairs. I just got word yesterday that those parts are still about 2 weeks out, so they'll be installed as soon as possible. That's about it in a nutshell. If they got any questions or.
Did the animal control people get everything all cleaned out good for that meeting this weekend?
The animal control people have been out for a while and we've been in there doing some work since then, so it'll be cleaned up. We
Okay,
still got a couple extra sheets of FRP sitting in there. We got some work to do before the meeting tomorrow, so.
okay,
I got a lot of the guys out at the jail today. We had work tickets out there. There was some vapor barrier falling down. They took some scaffolding out to get that put back up. There was inmates using mop buckets banging into the drywall, so they're out putting FRP up to stop that from happening. And so we're just trying to clear up a few of them work tickets today, so.
Okay. All right. Did Eric talk to you about doing some driveway work out there at the sheriff's department?
I talked to Eric yesterday about the space for trucks to turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what if any permitting is needed. I know part of that property out there was considered wetland. I believe that was behind the jail, not to the side of it, but I was gonna give, Marty Tom, he was in on that pretty big, give him a call and see if he could tell me exactly where the wetlands lie, and if he can't,
Peterson, I think
Scott can probably help us with that.
Peterson might know about that because he was on that.
Yeah, he might know too,
Okay.
so we'll look into it.
Okay. Well, we certainly,
We can do what we can.
okay, we have a lot of time, but it would be nice to know ahead of time so we get a hold of that. And then I'll get a hold of you a little bit later today, Wes. Maybe we can sit down and talk about some stuff out at the airport.
Sure.
Just want to run some ideas by you.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Okay. You have to forgive me on this thing is not cooperating. So we'll move on to Cindy.
Okay, Northern Lights Arena turned in the reimbursement request for the fourth quarter for 2023. That was included in your packet along with the attachments that went with it. Their total that they were asking for reimbursement was $17,361.28. If you do decide to approve that full amount, or whichever amount you decide to approve, we will need to do an increase to line item 272-763-975, as there was nothing budgeted to be spent.
Was any of this budgeted?
No. Yep, nothing has been budgeted for 24 either. With the change in the way budgets were being done, that was overlooked apparently. So we will need to increase that in order to pay this and anything going forward for the 24 requests.
Most of this is for building repair and maintenance on the building, so that would have to come out of that budget, wouldn't it? The entryway ceiling, that was leaking, had to be repaired, and Peterson ordered that,
Yeah.
and the rest of this is mostly just for parts. The floor scrubber wasn't working there for 4 or 5 weeks, and they bought a new one, and then they bought the parts to fix the old one. So they've got two now. They got a backup and got a new one, which they use all the time. They use it inside on the track and they use it on the floors out there, and they have to have that scrubber. So that in the Zamboni, they had to do some repairs on the Zamboni, and you got a problem there. You got one of them that's 50 years old and the other one, I don't know, it's at least 20 years old. So they need repair, and you just have to keep repairing them. So I'd make a motion that we approve this and make the budget adjustment to take care of it.
So we have a motion on the floor to pay the bills as presented from Bill. If I could get a second, and then we'll have discussion.
A second.
Okay, we got a motion from Mr. Lay and a second from Commissioner Fournier. Now, Cindy, you were going to explain this situation to us, is that right? About how, well, what do we usually pay annually for that? What's typically budgeted?
I don't have what normally is budgeted because there was nothing budgeted for this year. I didn't do a previous history. I can get that for you if you'd like it. Normally, they pay the first $6,000 annually on all repairs and maintenance. And then it is agreed that maintenance work will be performed as required. not deferred, that all such work will be first approved by the county maintenance manager, designated and actual work inspected and found it acceptable. And the stuff that they have on this invoice, there's a Schedule H showing that the floor scrubber is part of the county items. I have a list. I don't know if I included that, but I can also send you that if you like it. That was updated April 19th of 21. John actually did that update
Okay.
according to this.
What did I just do?
You did Schedule H update. The items that were listed that were acceptable for.
Oh, yeah, okay. Cause I was thinking something else.
We don't have any money to pay the bills.
There was nothing budgeted. They have a fund balance of 124,361,08, but nothing was budgeted in that line item to expense out.
Okay,
So-
and they pay the first
6,000,
6,000.
which has already been met. And they just recently, last meeting, I believe you approved to pay the second and third quarter, which have been done now.
And you went through the bills for the second, third quarter.
Yep. That was included in your packet.
So this, I guess, is a good time to bring this up. On the contract, and I know I brought this up several times before. The page. Page this is. Appendix B. In Appendix B, it says 2,000 shall be fully budgeted to fund such expenses. Annual expenses not exceed 4,500. And it does discuss previously in the thing about the first 6,000. So basically, I brought this up numerous times where Mary Catherine was here. Every time it seems like Northern Lights Arena comes to bring us the bills. The way I read that is in the contract, it says they pay the first $6,000. And in Appendix B, it says $2,000 shall be annually budgeted to fund such expenses. Monthly expenses not to exceed 4,500. And every time I brought it up, I said, if we're gonna change it, we need to do something. We can't just keep,
Right, yeah. Is it 4,500 or is it 6?
Well,
well,
we should.
they pay the six,
They
they
pay
pay the
the
first
six.
six, but in Appendix B, some of the surcharge use policy, some of the items discussed in here that, stuff that we'll pay for, right at the bottom, the last line, it says $2,000 shall be annually budgeted for expenses with annual expenses not to exceed 4,500.
Okay,
What is the total expense for today?
17,361.28.
these bills are from last year, right?
Correct.
Didn't we just do the second, third quarter of last year at the last meeting?
Yes, this is the fourth quarter.
Okay. But August is the third quarter.
Correct. I don't know if you want to ask Jeremy about that. That's,
Are these ones that didn't get put in the third quarter?
My ears are ringing too much to actually hear everybody and everything, get a little closer.
So these bills are from the third quarter of last year, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, we just did the third quarter last time you were here, right?
We went over the third quarter, yes, correct, last time we were here.
Okay. But these bills weren't on there.
No, we had just gotten them to you.
Okay,
I don't, the last time we were here, well, yeah, I guess it was after the first of the year, but I also didn't want to muddy the waters up. This process has kind of been pretty cumbersome since we've missed the first and second quarter and
Okay,
came back to that extremely late and back. You know, so I figured I'd just wait to do this one to not.
Okay.
Muddy the water up more at that time.
all right.
So, like, do we separate them, 23 from the 24s? Because there is some,
This is 23 also.
Well, we have a motion on the floor. So I guess we'll take a vote here. But I definitely would like to look at that contract, and I agree with John, we need to clarify some of this stuff. And I apologize, I've never looked at the contract. So that's my fault. But yeah, I would like to take a good look at that contract, and maybe we can amend it and get everybody on the same page moving forward. So we don't have any surprises. So I guess we have a motion and support. So unless there's any further discussion, John, do you have anything else? We'll take a roll call vote and see what we come up with.
Commissioner Fournier,
no,
Commissioner Kozlowski, Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Kondrashevsky.
No. Okay. Well, Jeremy, I will, maybe you and I should get together. I'll look at this contract and see what we can come up with. And then maybe I'll come see you, or I'll schedule something with you. And I'll get your number. I don't have it. I'll get it from one of the, John or somebody, and I'll get a hold of you and we'll figure this stuff out.
All right, well, that's great.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to get on the same page, so there's no surprises for anybody.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for coming in, and we'll get together and get this ironed out.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. Okay. Bear with me while we get back to the agenda here. I would move to the lights, the fairgrounds rental use agreement.
Oh, is this where I get to?
Yes, it is. Sorry, John.
So let me go back to my notes here. So one of the things, first thing I wanted to talk about was the plaza pool invoicing. So after full board meeting last week, one of the things that I've come across and looking at, how the plaza pool is done, just for, I guess, more insight on the question that Robin brought up with the use of the pool. One of the things that I found, unlike with the Northern Lights, we get just hodgepodge invoicing from synchronization, whatever it is, synchronization LLC. So they'll send in, they show up to the, and actually I have some here. Which, like I said, there's a problem with it in my mind. So this is how we get invoices, and this is only a couple. This is how we get the invoices from the pool. So they just show up and said, here's, 5 invoices. And one of the invoices, which I guess I have a kind of a concern with, it was literally folded over, so we couldn't see what was purchased. And I told Michelle in clerk's office, I said, I got a problem with that, because how do we know what they're purchasing? As we went through a few of the things, gift boxes, I don't know what kind of stuff we need to be purchasing for gift boxes at the Plaza Pool. But I guess I wanted just to have a conversation with how the pool is just willy-nilly giving us invoices and we're just paying. The other thing I noticed too was they're submitting invoices for stuff that they pay tax on, and I talked to Kim, just like Northern Lights, they deduct all their tax from their stuff, but yet we're paying the tax on the Plaza Pool. So I think, if we're gonna do it for one, we need to do it for both. We can't just say one, you can, we're gonna pay the tax, the other one, we're not paying the tax. So I think I'd like to have, I guess, more input from the other commissioners and thoughts about how we're doing this, because I don't like the process that I've come across. Like I said, to me, I shouldn't get an invoice where it's folded over and I just see the total amount and I don't know what is being purchased. You know, at least with Northern Lights, they're putting it on a spreadsheet. They're saying, you know, these are all the purchases and what they're for, and then we can decide. We literally pay for every single thing on that pool. There's nothing that we don't pay for. We pay for the payroll. They submit a payroll sheet, and then we just pay it. You know, the top two things, I don't even know, do you know who office is?
I don't know who it is, but I know Kim is the manager and then they have an office person and then the rest of their, like ours, I mean, I'm not sure who their staff is. We don't do their payroll, but they just submit it like an invoice.
I'm saying, we literally, they just hand us the bills and we pay it.
Right.
It's like literally, in my mind, no real oversight over that. And again, I know that we've paid Synchronization LLC to be doing that, but, you know, I think it's good to take a look at stuff every now and then because, you know, like I said, we're paying tax on stuff that,
We also pay them a management fee to manage the pool. So we also per month pay Synchronizations just a flat out fee to be the managers of the pool.
that's,
Plus we pay everything else.
I mean, we're paying absolutely every single thing that they purchase or whatever. So like I said, I just think that we need to come up with in my mind, a better way that this is done. Because, you know, this is actually, I think, talking to Michelle, this is purchased because you can see total savings. Someone's purchasing on their Meyer or whatever it is, their, what do you call that? Meyer perks.
And perks.
They're getting all the perks and we're getting nothing. And again, we're paying the tax. So I think we really need to take a better look at this stuff and maybe come up with something because
It is like a reimbursement too, like someone will go to the wherever and just purchase it and then bring the receipt and then we reimburse it instead of submitting an invoice like normal people do, like they buy something, they get invoiced and then they submit the invoice.
well, just like Northern Lights. Northern Lights is literally purchasing things. And then he's got a spreadsheet and then he turns that in along with the backup stuff. And again, I know like I said, there's got to be a better way than this is.
Right, definitely.
And I did talk to Kim.
Request that they come to you first and ask you if they can purchase whatever they're gonna purchase.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, some of this stuff, where this one here. I just think we need to let them know we're looking. You know, when you, again, what are we purchasing gift boxes for? There may be a good reason, but I don't know what type of thing we need to be paying for at the Plaza Pool that we need to be purchasing gift boxes. And I can follow up more with this, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware of the same thing that I just looked into. And again, we need to make a decision because I think I talked to Kim yesterday about this and she said, you know, or not Kim, Michelle, but if we're gonna pay the tax or we're not gonna pay the tax.
Also, I think they just bought a cart from Tractor Supply, which there's probably a very perfect legitimate business use for that cart, but who owns that cart now? Does it belong to Synchronizations or does it belong to the?
Should be us. That's the thing, you know, so we have no idea if something, a piece of equipment or whatever is being purchased, you know, at the end, because I think that was like $500.
It was like 300. I mean, it wasn't like an outrageous amount, but I mean, who owns that cart now in?
We do, like
I
Alpena,
mean, obviously we do, but
yeah, well,
I mean, we paid for it, but do we own it?
yeah. But I don't know, what do you guys?
Oh, I agree. We need to get with her and go over this stuff. and see if there is even a contract or protocol in place like we have with Northern Lights. I mean, theirs needs a little bit of tweaking, but it's there. Do we have anything like that in place with the pool?
We do. It's, I think, I got the contract. It's a shorter contract and it's not very, I guess, in-depth detail. I think Northern Lights is probably a little bit more detailed.
Well, maybe you and I could get together and get the two contracts from Cindy or whomever and, you know, go over them side by side and then have a meeting with these folks and get things figured out.
Okay.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing that up. What was the other thing you wanted to?
The other thing was the locker room. Remember, we had the.
Yes.
And I don't know if you, any conversations, discussion, and I meant to reach out, but so busy with other things that I just added this last night when I was trying to think of things that I wanted. The problem is I got stuff and Brenda will probably hit me, but I'll probably be bringing stuff up at the next meeting too. So,
No, they're,
but,
Jeremy, were you here when the Mrs. Nowicki came up and spoke about the no ladies locker room at the hockey rinks?
No.
Okay. Okay. So if you want, maybe we'll have a couple of questions for you. Her concern was for the lack of a ladies, you know, locker room at the ice rink. And where did she say they were changing now?
I think it was like, I think it's down, the way she described it is down the hall in that little room where you open the door up and basically everybody walking by can look in and see.
Yeah, they were at the end of the arena's main hallway in the community room. And I didn't care for that spot either. It's utilized by the public quite frequently. We actually now have moved them into a different location of the building. It's less accommodating from the fact that it's a long ways away from both of the rinks, but it's very private. So it's, you know, convenient but inconvenient, I suppose. But it's a much better spot for them to utilize for right now.
I've never really looked at the locker rooms. Have you ever been over to the locker rooms or?
I have, but it's been a while. And when she was here, I was actually there that evening and just took a little walk around and I was kind of ignorant as to what she was talking about. Obviously, it's something that we need to address it, but what are your thoughts on it? And then we'll get Jeremy's thoughts.
Oh, I know, I got, as I was going through stuff, I see we have the contract with like the Alpena High School, which to me, I don't know. You know, if, again, it's one of those things in hindsight, would I do that again? No, I wouldn't do that again because basically it's like they've got possession of that locker room and then nobody really can use it, correct? Or,
Yeah, correct, to an extent. The high school coach does allow people that he trusts to use it, I guess, you know, and.
but it's one of those
scenarios.
It's one of those things where, again, it's the county-owned facility, and yet we don't really have much say over that locker room. How many locker rooms are there?
If you include the high school locker room and then there was a junior team locker room added in years ago, there's 10.
10 locker rooms?
Yes.
Oh, that's quite a bit.
quite a few.
No, actually, it's for a facility our size, it's half of what we need.
Much more than I thought. I thought you had 2.
Yeah. It's the misconception is when you have, most people show up for a game an hour early. Well, when I show up for a game an hour early and there's a game on the ice, the people that are on the ice are in the locker room.
Yeah.
So then you're stuck waiting for that group to get done. Well, they get done 10 minutes before you go on.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to place them into a different locker room. And it's normally not a problem on an average weekend, but when we try and do large tournaments and say we have 16, 24, 32 teams in town, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you're constantly on the scramble to figure out who you're getting out and who you're getting in. And then, like I say, like the inconvenience of somebody being a long way as well, too bad. Like you're getting dressed in this rink, but you're playing on that rink over there. I mean,
And I know that whole thing with the woman that talked that night, I think to me that makes total sense, you know, you got young girls and you opening the door and people are walking by and I don't think that's appropriate that we would put them in a situation like that. So hopefully, I think if you're saying you moved them.
Yep.
Better location, hopefully, and I don't know, do you know the woman?
I do actually, not really well, but if I passed her in the street, I'd say hello.
So I don't know if we could, I was trying to find the email because I was gonna reach back out.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay,
and the Hockey Association also spent money to put petitions into that room. That's actually why they ended up getting moved, or why we ended up figuring something else and moving them, because we can't really overtake that room. It was intended for, something else. I mean, the petitions would go up and down pretty easily, but we still had moved them, I mean, for more privacy. And technically, I mean, I will be open about it. If we get these locker rooms eventually funded by a grant, or we're also looking at some other avenues, they may not 100% always be used for women. I mean, in a situation where we have a big tournament, we may use them.
I don't think the issue is like strictly dedicating them towards women. I think what the issue that I heard was the total lack of, privacy, because
Yep.
when the doors are open,
Yep.
someone's walking by and you see a bunch of girls in the.
Well, and the reason that there's an issue also, even though we do have 10 locker rooms, is 8 of them have shared bathrooms. They, 2 locker rooms share 1 bathroom.
Yeah.
They're between the 2 of them. You can lock the doors on both sides, but then that eliminates, if you have girls on one side and you have
Not usable.
boys on the other side, nobody can use the bathroom. It eliminates, which there's other facility or, other restrooms in the facility that can be accessed, but you can't use the showers and things like that, so.
Are there a lot of female hockey players right now?
I would say right now, we probably have 40 girls skating at the ice rink in total between, the adult teams and the youth.
Okay.
I would say there's at least that many.
Yeah, so can I make a comment on it?
Yeah, certainly.
Sorry. So like I played like college hockey, and then growing up, like I was shoved in like a closet, like a figure skating like closet. I think we do a very good job at trying to accommodate these young females. And there is on Monday and Wednesdays, a girls team does skate. And in that instance, they get one of the locker rooms that has the bathroom in it. Yes, it's not ideal to be shoved into a closet or have to walk a long ways. But what we did with and paired with AHA and giving them a little privacy in an old office space. Like, yeah, it's a long walk, but it's steps from where girls in my generation like had to get dressed. Like a lot of times we had to get dressed in a lobby too. So you're going into the public bathroom to put your under stuff on, walking back out and getting dressed in the lobby in front of all these parents and everything like that. We're here, we're at least giving them a room. We did apply for a grant earlier in the year. We just got word back that we were denied to build onto the back of the building to create a women's locker room. But yeah, like we have a lot of girls skating. There's a full girls team that they're trying to put together, and they do get a locker room on those nights. It's just when the whole team's not skating, it is hard to give a locker room to 4 girls versus a team of boys that have 20 kids on it. So yeah, it's not ideal, and it's definitely something that I'm a big push for, is to get a women's locker room for girls hockey players. But like right now, we can't just justify getting 1 locker room. So.
And I don't believe that's what this lady was after, was an exclusive thing. Just, I think, a little bit more privacy and maybe what you guys have come up with. We know that will, for lack of better terms, pacify the situation. So maybe John and I can schedule a visit and come out and see you and show us around a little bit, and we can throw some ideas back and forth. And then, I would suggest, I don't know if you've worked with Lenny or not, he's not with Target. Where's Lenny at?
Yeah.
He's with
Target or DDA, one of the two.
Lenny at Target has came on with us not terribly long ago, and his specialty is working with grants. So, if you can get you the number and get you in touch with Lenny, maybe you fine tune that application and resubmit it or look for something else. Yeah, because
I was just gonna ask about that, because I remember you came to the board before to ask,
Yeah.
let us know that you applied for it. So did they say why it was denied?
It was, I can tell you really quick, I think they got a larger amount of applications than they were expecting.
Yeah.
And the amount that we were asking, they just couldn't fund it, is what I understand.
I think they had a little under 3 million to grant, and they had over 1 billion in request.
So why didn't they pick us?
We were, a size. I think we're gonna reach out and see if we can get maybe some pledges of the user groups. And then possibly from people from the community to have some, some upfront money or skin in the game on it. Go ahead, Jess, whenever you
Yeah.
find what you.
It just said that the demand far exceeded the funds that were allocated for this.
But we had the opportunity presented to us kind of at the last minute for this. Somebody reached out to me and said, hey, there's some money for a grant. Traverse City's been getting a lot, the stuff of it, it's coming out of there. They would like to see money come to this side of the state also. I think there's a good chance that we could get it in the future. We just, like I say, I think the grant was due in August last year, I believe it was, or something, or September.
Is that a one-time kind of grant, or do they come out every year with?
No, they come out every year, and like I say, I kind of got notification on it from, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jen Calery, but she works with the CVB in the chamber. She does a lot of grant writing, so she approached me, but it was kind of, last second, but hopefully we'll move forward with it.
I got another question related to the locker room. I just opened up the contract that we had with APH. And it was an extension, and I don't know if you're aware of a newer extension, but the extension, the last I have was the extension period requested from 1 August 2002 through July 31st, 2022. So if we don't have a new memo, extension, anything, and I don't know who would know that, we would know that in the commissioner's office, I would think.
Maybe Kim and Lynn might have that. I'm not sure.
You're referring to the high school contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, the way that contract was written is not in anyone's favor other than the high school.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, but again, this memo that I'm reading tells me that their contract, their extension period is expired on July 31st, 2022. So
I'll ask Lynn if we have an updated contract.
2026, you're saying?
22.
Yeah, no, I know there was something else in there. I'd have to probably touch base with Dave Guzman on that, but, or if somebody wants to contact, probably Abby Dora would be able to answer the question or come up with something, but I know that there was something else in place. In between that.
In between it or after that?
Pardon?
In between, you said in between that or following this?
After that, yeah, after 22. Cause I recall Dave working on some.
We should have something in,
This might be it right here.
what'd you do?
It's in the Commissioner's Drive.
Oh,
It says restated property lease with Northern Lights Arena.
well, that's their lease,
Oh, then that's not it.
so not the one with the school. We can find that out later.
Yeah.
But I just-
APS NLA agreement with county.
And your extension. Actually, yours looks,
Yeah, this has first 2012 to. It looks like it was extended to 2032.
when was that done?
It was saved on April of 2023.
Oh, okay. So I don't have the most up, so you're probably right. They extended it. We need to quit that next time. Put a note on that. Do this again. Okay.
I was gonna say, I think you're at the end of your agenda.
I think so, more or less, pretty close.
Yeah, I see there's no public comment, but I was wondering if you'd allow me to. Of course. Speak.
Yeah.
I just was listening to the pool and ourselves as a person, outside of, I run the rink as a public figure or just a private citizen, I guess I should say. It is a tough thing. The rink is leased to an LLC. And the pool, I understand, is a different scenario. There's a lot of other things there that are question mark. And I agree with trying to clean them up or figure it out contractually. It's also kind of tough for County Board of Commissioners to. I mean, you can't speak to or tell somebody how to run their business. But it also is your property. But then there's other things that come into that, with equipment, say that, I mean, the thing that we just turned in, now whose floor scrubber is that if you guys don't pay for it? Because my business did. And I'm paying taxes on all that. It makes it pretty tough. And the other thing that makes it extremely tough is I've watched this board over the past 20 years turn over, how many times? 4 or 5 times. And when there's contracts and everybody doesn't understand it, and I understand that things take time in order to figure out. But in the meantime, I was without a floor scrubber for 4 or 5 months. I had been approached by the County Board of Commissioners or a couple of commissioners to get the ceiling fixed at the rink. The wheels spin kind of slow, and right now the pool may not have money to do things, and hopefully we'll get that figured out. I'm sure we will. The rink does. I need to move forward with running the business and, making sure that the commissioner that called me and says, hey, you're gonna get this ceiling fixed. Yeah, I'm working on it, I get it taken care of, in somewhat of a timely fashion, because we're pretty understaffed over there also, but I guess it's just things to take into consideration, when you're looking at they're both extremely unique situations. I'm glad and I'm fortunate that I can participate in helping the county and the community make that happen, because I know that the county wouldn't be able to afford to make it run. It just would be too much of a headache. But it is what we have and it's what we're stuck with. So we'll work together on it. But, in looking at those things, I guess I'm just voicing my opinion and consideration. So I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Certainly. Yeah, thank you for sharing your opinion. And at the end of the day, you know, I think that we all have the same end goal in mind. We want the rank, we want it to be successful, and we don't want to break your business. We just have to open up some communication here and get some things laid out in black and white.
Yep.
So there is no awkward conversations like such.
Right.
You know, we all want that there, you know, a lot of the people in this community have kids that use it all the time. We just have to, and we are faced with a ridiculous deficit as well. You know, and we have 30,000 people breathing down our neck, just like you have 7 of us. So
Right.
we'll get where we need to be. I do have confidence in that, but, you know, John and I will sit down with you and figure this stuff out. So, we get into a situation that will definitely work for everybody.
No, that'd be great. I really appreciate that. Thanks. I understand you guys are doing the same thing I'm doing, just trying to help the community out and
Yep.
get by.
Definitely.
No, thanks.
Thanks, Jeremy. Okay, so let's see where we are at here. I guess that takes us to the fairgrounds rental agreement. Did everyone have an opportunity to look that over? Have any questions or anything?
Got no questions.
Okay.
It was probably the one that made it home.
So,
I'm not going to participate in this.
correct, yeah, okay, all right, yep. So, I will, do I need to make a motion to have you recluse? Are we voting on this?
Yeah, you'll have to.
Wait, up to,
So,
So, yeah, I'm going to recuse myself.
I think you should.
okay,
But you need a motion to approve.
yeah, yep.
You need a motion to recuse yourself?
Yeah,
Okay, so we've got a motion on the floor from Commissioner LaHaye to allow John Kozlowski to be reclused from this vote.
I'll support that.
We've got support from Commissioner Fournier.
I have a question here. What, you have any problem with this?
I haven't seen the lease, but I don't have no problem with them training their dogs. It's been done many times in the past.
Okay, well, then,
recuse me first, though.
Yep. So, do we need a roll call vote for that? We'll just do it. We'll just do a roll call vote.
Commissioner LaHaye,
yes,
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes,
Commissioner Kondrashevsky.
Yes. Okay, with John exempt, I would look for a motion to move forward and allow this training to be done at the fairgrounds.
I'll make that motion.
We got a motion from Commissioner Fournier,
I'll second that.
got support from Commissioner LaHaye. Is there any discussion? Anybody have any questions on this? All right, I guess we'll look for a roll call vote on this as well.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes,
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes,
Commissioner Kondrashevsky.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to the phase 1 environmental study discussion in regards to the Boys and Girls Club. Does anybody have any information on that?
pardon
I
me.
didn't see any attached documentation.
I don't even know where they're at on this.
Well, so I saw there was an email, I think, was it you, Jennifer, that sent or asked a question about a guy, what was it, Breggy or whatever? Was that his last name?
I don't think that was from me. About the youth and rec?
No,
No.
the,
The Boys and Girls Club environmental,
yeah. Betty,
Rich Braggy,
is that who it is?
environmental excavating or,
yeah, he is an environmental
yeah.
inspector.
He's done our asbestos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Contamination out at the old jail site.
So where is it at? I mean,
I don't know. There was no
I
documentation.
thought, from what I kind of picked up was Mary Catherine was the one that reached out to him for that. Am I correct, or
I don't know.
does anyone know?
It looks like Mayor Catherine reached out to him,
Yeah,
getting a price for doing a phase 1 environmental study at 2 locations
something on that someplace. I remember something.
for
Yeah.
Boys and Girls Club on River Street and the new site for MRF off Airport Road.
we have to get an environmental study on that?
why did we have to get one?
Then when they had the last, that guy that did the appraisal on the property, first time, way back, wasn't there some question on environmental stuff at that time? Or didn't he bring up? some-
Foundation,
At the Boys and Girls Club, I do believe there was a question.
yeah.
So then we were gonna hire him again, but he was too expensive or something.
So who added it to the agenda?
I
I
don't,
thought you did.
No.
I did.
I put it on there from Bert recommended to bring it back to facilities,
Who's Bert?
Okay.
Francisco.
Who,
Did Bert give you any information with that request?
No, it was just what Jennifer had said about the two locations that Mary Catherine had emailed him.
It looks like it fell off the radar right after she gave him the two locations and then that
He was
Richard,
asking if there was any follow-up back from it.
that was on January 30th.
Okay.
And I guess my question is, do we need to do an environmental study? Because, and the other question is, was the deal, I guess, deal with the Boys and Girls Club approved for the 75-25 or the
we voted on it. I remember that.
60-40 split?
We voted on it, I remember.
Well, and I think that was contingent to an appraisal.
Yes.
Yeah, but we haven't.
Was this environmental study part of the appraisal?
I thought Jesse was gonna said go with the old appraisal.
Well,
So how about this? This is on here for discussion and we're obviously having discussion. So Jennifer, maybe you and I can work through this and get something in place with some information for the group for the next full board.
Sure.
That way we can have it out in front of us before the next facilities.
well, yeah, because I mean, I guess I would wonder, do we even need to do the environmental study? I
No.
mean,
It don't belong to us.
well, yeah, it does.
Like, we sold it to the Boys Club, Girls Club.
Well,
We gave it to
we
them.
gave it to
$1,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it don't belong to us, so why would we have to do the study?
I mean, really, at the end of the day, unless it's part of the appraisal process, we really wouldn't. That would be up to a buyer.
Right.
If we're not gonna tear it down or anything, there's no reason to have
Right.
some kind of, even if there is asbestos or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. It'd be up to the person that takes it over,
Right.
take care of that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be our
That'd
responsibility.
be in your purchase or your.
Put that in agreement that they have to assume the liability on the.
Right, when you buy something or get something, it's up to you to.
Glenn just sent me an email Mary Catherine had sent in January, and it says that the price to have this environmental study was $2,500.
Well, that's
And
fine.
that's just so that we're fully aware of whatever issues might be needed on the site.
Do we need to be fully aware?
No,
I mean.
Aren't you selling as is?
Yeah,
we gave it to them.
if I were the buyer, I would be a buyer of that, I would be my due diligence to look into have someone come out and do some checking.
Right.
What do you call those? Building inspector, building inspector, but
Even your home inspection.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like a home inspector.
You know,
He comes out, you pay for that person to come out and inspect the property, and they say, this is what's wrong with the property. That would be whoever is purchasing the property
Right.
to say, this is what I found. Based on that information, we're gonna give you this amount.
Yeah, it's not up.
I can tell you that with the old jail, county had an environmental study done on that building. And when the building and the property were sold, before it could be torn down, it had to be redone again.
So
We gave them what information we had, but the information we had didn't include roofing materials, because obviously we're using it as a jail. We're not gonna cut a hole in the roof to test materials. So there had to be more work done, even though we had already,
Well,
we did it several years before it was even decided to sell the jail, but
but I think that, again, that'd be something that a new prospective buyer would want to know for themselves, and they would probably go out and get it anyway.
Only thing that comes to mind was the fact that it may affect the value of it. It was part of the appraisal.
I don't even know if we have anybody interested at this time. I don't know where we are with that.
I think we were just trying to establish a dollar amount with the property in the building. So we could see what we wanted to do with the Boys and Girls Club.
What was I thought there was an amount. Someone said something about like, was it assessed at like 120 or somewhere?
That was back. The old assessment.
Okay.
And I thought when Jesse made the motion, he said to go with the old assessment. I don't know if they plan on doing a new one or not. You would have to get a hold of them to see what they plan on doing.
Yeah, because
We don't own that building, they do.
if, who's looking to, I mean, they kind of brought it to us to take, basically be able to sell the property and get 100% of the proceeds. And that's when
We
you
said
said
no.
we'll split it or whatever.
We'll take
But,
some percentage.
We,
They can't sell it unless we sign that.
yeah, but did they ever even agree to that? Because I don't even know.
We haven't heard anything.
Yeah. Crickets.
There you go.
Cool.
Maybe they don't want to sell it now.
Wasn't Robin gonna talk to them about it?
She's
Doesn't have
on the board. Guess we need to find out, so what's his name? What's the guy's name that runs that? Brad?
Rich Brady?
No, Boys and Girls Club?
I don't know.
Is it Brad?
Bradshaw?
No, Brad is his first name.
Well, I'll work with
Robin would
Jennifer
know.
on this one as well. We'll get this information rejuvenated and bring it back to full board.
Yeah, Robin would know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We will on to Jennifer, fairgrounds caretaker job description. Everybody had a chance to look it over. Is there anything you wanted to point out about it, Jennifer?
Yeah, so the main reason why we were doing this was because there was some confusion as to where the maintenance employees were supposed to remove snow at the fairgrounds compared to the actual caretaker. We also changed who the fairground caretakers are going to report to. We moved that over to the maintenance superintendent. And I have not heard back if we're interested in having camp hosts at the fairgrounds or not. So if we're not, we can remove number 13.
You say we haven't heard back whether we are interested in it or.
I don't know if who decides about the host, if that is something that the caretakers decide.
I can say to him that he should get a camp host.
Well, it'd be nice, I mean, just like the other parks, if no one's there, there's someone to go to.
Right.
I wouldn't, I would
Okay.
leave that in there, just,
I think he tried to get camp hosts and he couldn't find anybody that wanted to do it.
well, but I don't know if we,
No, I wouldn't take it out.
yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I'm gonna leave that there.
He definitely needs a camp host.
So his direct report now is going to be Wes.
Yes,
And who was it in the past?
it's the county administrator.
The last he signed didn't have anybody that he was to report to. So that's why some of the clarification.
Well, in some of the discussion, we met with him a month ago or so. And we had a conversation about do and don't do. And during the conversation, one of the things was he would go back to Mary Catherine. Mary Catherine would go to Wes. Wes would go back to Mary Catherine and
Too many hoops to jump through to get to the answer when ideally Wes,
From the two of us.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
So only needed one person. We decided Wes was,
cut out the middleman.
Okay.
Wes was it.
Weston.
So then Wes, with that being said, if there are issues with him, you know, even with camp feed, things of that nature, you're just gonna bring him to the board?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Camp fees and stuff like that, I don't see. That goes directly to the treasurer's office, but I'm sure this year they'll bring it forward,
Well, and that was,
either to me or to the board.
and that's why I asked, because if he's direct report to you, I'm assuming we probably aren't gonna see him a whole lot anymore at these meetings. Maybe we will. I just want to make sure that we have some kind of chain of command figured out with the fees and all of the other stuff. Else,
Maybe if he
still did a report, but reported more on the rental, the camping, rather than the facilities on the grounds. That might be, I think that's something I would like to see.
I definitely think that he should continue to do the reporting as he has been. And he can either give that to you to bring forward, or he is certainly, in my opinion, still welcome to come to these meetings with you and share any concerns or anything. So, okay. Well, that sounds good to me. Do we need to make a motion to pass this as is?
I think,
Or do we move it up to full board?
oh, well, just job description, we should prove it.
Okay.
Unless we have,
Make a motion that he reports to us.
no, just
No.
the job description, the updated job description.
So I guess I'll make a motion to approve this as it's written to put this into effect. Right? Or we're after?
I'll support that.
Okay. So we'll do a roll call vote to put this new job description into effect.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes,
Commissioner Kozlowski, Commissioner Konarshewski.
Yes. Glad to hear the repairs are done on the house.
Yeah. Too.
Yeah. Okay, we will, we do not have a monthly report this month. So if you could just mention to Pat West that we would still like to see that either from him or yourself moving forward. And let him know, that although you are his direct report, obviously, if there's any issues, he can certainly come to us. Okay, great. The recycling reports, everyone's had an opportunity to look them over. Is there any questions on any of that?
who goes to the recycling meetings now?
Bill,
Bill, okay.
and we have one next Thursday. Supposed to be this Thursday, but they moved it for whatever reason. Oh, I don't know if anyone knows, did you get, basically Stan left.
Resigned, yeah.
Stan Mishley did?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I don't know. Do you know what the reason was for that?
No, I saw an email last night from Dan Hibner
I did.
to ask Cindy ahead of time for discussion or be at least prepared. She didn't put that out there, what the plan is to move forward. She said, I think she said she'd bring it to the meeting next week, but I think Dan was looking for, heads up on how they want to move forward with him. I think the assistant.
The assistant was gonna take over until he.
Step in temporarily. I don't know.
But I don't know. He was just at the meeting the other week or so ago.
Stan?
I sat right next to him.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything about getting out or anything, and all of a sudden, bang, he's gone. So I don't know, did somebody do something to him or?
I'm calling.
Who did he turn his resignation to?
Well, I don't know. I just, probably Bill and I got an email from Cindy Johnson to all the recycling people, board members, that effective immediately, Stan has submitted his resignation. This was, I think, last week.
It's all of a sudden gone. He didn't even give him notice or anything. He just said, I'm resigning, that's it.
So we'll probably find out more either coming up to the meeting or at least definitely by the meeting next week. So.
I have a question. I know there's no public comment, but I get asked this question a lot.
You're not part of the public.
Where are the recycling facilities that you drop stuff off at? Like, where are they located?
It's out on 32.
Three in back of Neiman's. There's, I think, Northern Lights Arena, there's one. There's one in Arsenic. I don't know where the rest.
There's one at Neiman's, back in Neiman's.
Is there?
Actually,
And that Northern Lights and
Is there somewhere that someone can go to find out like that information? Or is there like on their website?
I would just call out there and ask him.
Just call them, okay. And then I know that there was like an article written somewhere about people overloading it and leaving stuff on the ground or stuff like.
I seen,
And then like what types of stuff? Is it just cardboard you can drop?
It says on the side of the recycling.
tells you what, you can drop cardboard off, you can drop, they don't want any like pizza containers or anything like that.
Contaminated stuff.
They want just plain old cardboard, and then you can drop off plastics and stuff like that, but
Certain
they
types.
don't have any glass yet, but they're working on that, but
And if it's full, can you take it right to the facility?
well,
That
you
would-
can go out on 32 and drop it off.
Drop it
too.
off at 30?
Yeah, at the
As
old,
long as they're open.
Yeah, you
Don't
don't
stack it up.
throw it over the fence.
And do you know if they have like a website or something that you can, that just people can go to and find out information? Because people call my office like crazy asking for that. And I'm just looking for a phone number to give to people or direct them somewhere to go to.
no.
I don't know.
They had a recycling brochure, but I don't know what
I wasn't able to make the last meeting. He was. I'm sure there's something.
Okay.
Have something.
Okay. I just wanted to tell people where to go.
If find out if you don't hear anything, I'll find out next week and I'll.
Okay, okay, great.
Maybe they even have a Facebook page or something. They can throw it out there.
I think they've got it. I can't, I don't have it with me, but I think there's tells you where the things are at and everything. If we can find that, I'll find that out at the next meeting and then we can
Okay, good.
bring that back.
I believe there's one at Wilson School as well. There was for a while. Okay. Do I need to make a motion to accept the reports as given? Probably.
Support that.
Okay, so we have a motion to support to accept the recycling monthly reports as written. I guess is that a roll call vote or?
All in
Let's
favor.
do all in favor vote on that. So all in favor of filing the reports as written, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same. Okay, we'll go ahead and file those. Next meeting is March 13th. I'm gonna look quick and see, make sure I'm here. If not, I can pass the buck. Looks like I'm good. Okay, next meeting, March 13th. We'll go ahead and adjourn the.
I have something I'd like to say. To the wonderful girls in the office of Alpena County. At the last meeting, I did say that they were lucky to have a job. And I didn't say it with malice, but you are. When we did the budget, we were so close to laying people off. It was bad. But I'd like to say now that you are all doing a great job. You are helping us to stay on track. So Alpena County can do better and get out of the 1.5 deficit we're in. And I'd like you to know, I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I would hate to lose any of you. I'd like to thank you very much for being. Thank you.
Yes, and I'm sure I don't only speak for myself, but thank you to all of you that are helping out. Our lack of a coordinator. I don't see everything, but what I have seen has been relatively smooth and we haven't really missed a beat. So
Thank you.
it's good to have good people on your team.
Yes, it's
Okay.
working.
All right, well, we will go ahead and adjourn the facilities meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.